Later that afternoon, Amara explored the penthouse properly, trying to process her new reality. Evidence of Taeyang's desperate search for her was everywhere. In his office, she found maps of Seoul marked with locations he'd searched, phone records showing hundreds of calls to anyone who might have seen her, private investigator reports, even CCTV footage from areas she'd been known to frequent. He'd dedicated an entire wall to finding her, photos of her, timelines, notes in his handwriting, tracking every lead. He hadn't lied. He'd looked for her desperately, obsessively. She found her old sketchbooks in a drawer, art supplies he must have kept. Before their marriage fell apart, she'd been studying design at university, dreaming of having her own boutique someday. She'd given up those dreams when his mother had convinced her she wasn't good enough, that she should focus on being a suitable wife instead. "You kept these too," she murmured, flipping through drawings of dresses and patterns, designs she'd abandoned. "I kept everything." Taeyang's voice came from the doorway, making her jump. "I told you, I never gave up on us." She turned. He looked tired but satisfied, tension in his shoulders easing slightly. "How did it go with Sohee?" "She's been handled. The stories won't run. She signed an NDA and accepted a settlement to keep quiet about everything, including what she saw last night." His expression darkened. "She also won't be working in Seoul anymore. I made some calls. You ruined her career. She tried to hurt you, to spread lies about you and our child. There are consequences for that." He crossed to her, his hands finding her waist possessively. "I know I can be controlling. I know my world is dangerous and complicated, but I will always protect you, even from gossip and lies. I know." She touched his face, feeling the tension there. "You look exhausted." "I haven't slept properly in 7 months, not since you left." His eyes searched hers. "I kept thinking you'd come back, that you'd realize whatever was wrong, we could fix it together. But you never came back. And every day that passed, I died a little more inside. I thought you didn't want me anymore, that I was an embarrassment. Impossible. You could never embarrass me. You made me better, made me want to be better." He pulled her closer, mindful of her belly between them. "I want you until I take my last breath, probably even after that." The kiss started soft but quickly deepened. 7 months of longing and separation fueling the heat between them. His hands tangled in her hair and she gripped his shoulders, remembering every reason she'd fallen for him, how safe he made her feel, how cherished, how desperately loved. "We should stop," she gasped when they broke apart, breathless. "The baby is perfectly safe." His lips found her neck, that spot that always made her melt. "I researched extensively. As long as you're comfortable, it's fine." "Of course you researched." She laughed, then gasped as his mouth found a sensitive spot. "Taeyang, I've missed you." His voice was rough against her skin, vibrating with need. "God, Amara, I've missed you so much. Every night alone was torture. Every woman who wasn't you felt wrong. I couldn't—" His voice broke. "I couldn't stop loving you." She pulled him toward the bedroom, 7 months of loneliness and fear dissolving under his touch. They moved together with familiar passion, his hands reverent on her changed body, his eyes full of wonder and love as he traced the curves of her pregnant belly. He was gentle, careful, constantly checking that she was comfortable, that nothing hurt. "You're beautiful," he whispered, his hands spanning her belly. "More beautiful than ever, carrying our child. God, Amara, you're perfect." Afterwards, she lay in his arms, feeling safer than she had in 7 months. His hand rested on her belly, feeling their baby kick, and she covered it with hers. "I was so scared," she admitted quietly. "When I found out I was pregnant, I didn't know how I'd manage alone, didn't know if I could give the baby everything they deserved." "You'll never be alone again." He kissed her temple, the promise fierce. "I swear to you, whatever happens, whatever comes, we face it together. You, me, and our baby. Family." "Family," she repeated, the word tasting like hope. A few days later, Amara woke to an empty bed and immediate panic. Morning sickness hit hard, and she barely made it to the bathroom. When she emerged, pale and shaking, Taeyang was there with water, crackers, ginger tea. "I heard you," he said simply, his hands supporting her back. "This happens every morning." "Most mornings. It's been better lately, but stress probably triggered it." She accepted the crackers gratefully, nibbling carefully. "We're seeing the doctor today. The best OB in Seoul. I want to make sure you and the baby are completely healthy." "I can't afford—" "You're on my insurance. You have been this whole time. I never took you off." His tone left no room for argument. "And even if you weren't, I'd pay for everything. You're my wife, Amara, my responsibility, my everything. Stop trying to handle things alone." The doctor's appointment was overwhelming in the best way. The clinic was luxurious, private, with staff who treated her like royalty instead of the charity case she'd become. Taeyang held her hand through the examination, his eyes glued to the ultrasound screen when their baby appeared. "Everything looks very good," the doctor said in English for Amara's benefit. "Baby is healthy, right size for gestational age, strong heartbeat. Mother needs better nutrition and rest, but overall everything's progressing well. You're lucky. 7 months of inadequate care could have caused serious problems." Amara felt guilt crash over her, but Taeyang squeezed her hand. She did the best she could with what she had. Now she has everything she needs. The doctor smiled. "Would you like to know the gender?" Amara looked at Taeyang. He looked at her, his eyes soft. "Together?" he asked quietly. "Together," she confirmed, her heart racing. "It's a girl," the doctor announced with a warm smile. "A healthy baby girl." Taeyang's expression transformed, wonder, joy, fierce protectiveness all crossing his features at once. "A daughter." His voice was thick with emotion, barely controlled. Amara found herself crying, overwhelmed by seeing him like this, by the reality of their daughter becoming real. He pulled her close, pressing kisses to her face, her hair, her lips, his own tears mixing with hers. "A daughter," he repeated, his voice breaking. "Our daughter, our little girl. I'm going to spoil her terribly." "Not too much," Amara protested through tears and laughter. "Way too much. She'll be a princess, my little princess. She'll have everything, the best schools, the best clothes, anything her heart desires." He looked at the ultrasound image the doctor handed them, his expression one of complete awe. "She's perfect, just like her mother." In the car afterwards, he couldn't stop looking at the ultrasound photos. "We need to start preparing, nursery, clothes, supplies. I want everything ready before she arrives." "We have 2 months," Amara said, amused by his intensity. "Not enough time. We need to plan." He was already making lists on his phone. "Crib, changing table, clothes, diapers, monitors. What colors do you want for the nursery?" "I don't know. Maybe something neutral? Not too pink and princessy." "Whatever you want. Though I reserve the right to buy her princess dresses." He glanced at her, his expression softening. "Thank you." "For what?" "For carrying our daughter, for surviving 7 months alone, for being strong enough to keep going even when you thought I didn't want you." His hand found hers. "For still loving me despite everything." "Always," she whispered. "I couldn't stop if I tried." That evening, Taeyang threw himself into preparation mode with the intensity he brought to everything. He researched cribs, car seats, baby monitors, reading reviews, comparing products like he was negotiating a business deal. Amara watched him with amusement and affection, seeing the man behind the Mafia boss facade. "You're being obsessive," she said, as he showed her paint swatches for the nursery. Dozens of them. "I'm being thorough. I've missed 7 months. I have catching up to do." He pulled her onto his lap carefully, mindful of her belly. "Indulge me. Let me do this. Let me be the father I should have been from the beginning. Fine, but nothing too pink and princessy. I want her to be strong, not spoiled. She can be both." He kissed her neck, his hands spanning her belly. Like her mother. Beautiful and strong and absolutely impossible to forget. The tenderness in his voice made her heart ache. She turned in his arms, facing him. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the pregnancy. I should have fought harder, questioned your mother more, demanded to talk to you directly. I was just so hurt and scared. Stop apologizing for what she did to us." His hands framed her face. "You did what you thought was right, what you thought I wanted. She manipulated you, manipulated both of us. That's on her, not you. But you missed." "I know what I missed. I'm angry about it, furious, but not at you, never at you." He kissed her softly. "We focus forward now, on our family, on our future, on giving our daughter everything she deserves, including a father who's there. Especially that." His eyes held hers. "I'm transitioning out of the darker side of my business, moving everything legitimate. It'll take time, but I'm doing it for you, for her, for us. I want to be a father she can be proud of." A week later, Amara was settling into her new old life with surprising ease. Taeyang worked from home most days, unwilling to leave her alone for long. He'd hired a nutritionist who created meal plans specifically for her pregnancy needs, a personal trainer who specialized in pregnancy-safe exercises. He'd started converting a spare room into a nursery, involving her in every decision even as he obsessively researched every product. But his world wasn't without its dangers. She was reminded of that when he came home one night with blood on his shirt and a cut above his eye, his knuckles split and swollen. "What happened?" She rushed to him, fear spiking through her chest, her hand instinctively going to her belly. "Rival gang. They made a move on one of my territories, tried to take advantage while they thought I was distracted." He tried to move past her, but she blocked his path, her pregnant belly making her stance both fierce and vulnerable. "You're hurt." "It's nothing." "It's not nothing. Sit down." She pushed him toward the couch with surprising strength, then got the first aid kit. Her hands shook as she cleaned the cut above his eye, each drop of blood a reminder of the dangerous world he lived in. "This is the life you lead, violence and danger." "Yes." He caught her hands, stilling their trembling. "And I understand if that scares you, but I'm transitioning out, moving toward legitimate business. It will take time, maybe a year, maybe 2, but I'm doing it for you, for our daughter. I don't want you to change who you are for me. I'm not changing who I am. I'm becoming who I want to be." His eyes held hers. "A man my daughter can be proud of, a husband who comes home safely every night, a father who's there for every moment, not missing anything because I'm dead or in prison." She kissed him, tasting blood and promise and fear. "Just don't get killed before our daughter is born. She needs her father. I need her too. And I need you." His hand found her belly, feeling their daughter kick as if responding to his voice. "You're my world now, both of you. Everything else is just noise. I'll be careful, I promise." The following week, Taeyang surprised her with a trip to an empty commercial space in one of Seoul's trendiest districts, floor-to-ceiling windows, exposed brick, perfect lighting. Amara stared in confusion. "What is this place?" "Your design studio, your boutique." He wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hands resting on her belly. "I want you to restart your business, your dream, whatever you need, space, supplies, funding, staff, it's yours." Amara felt tears prick her eyes. "This is too much." "It's not enough. You gave up your dreams because of my mother's poison, because she convinced you that you weren't good enough, that your only value was as my wife." His voice hardened with anger at his mother. "Now you get them back. Our daughter should know her mother is talented and successful, not just someone who lives in my shadow." "I don't live in your shadow." "I know. But I want the world to know it too. I want her to grow up seeing you build something amazing. To know that women, especially women who look like you, can create empires." He kissed her temple. "Say yes, let me give you this." How could she say no when he looked at her like she was everything? "Yes, thank you, but I'm doing this my way, with my vision. Not because I'm your wife, but because I'm talented." His smile was proud, fierce. "I wouldn't have it any other way." He hired a team to help her. experienced designers, skilled seamstresses, business managers who understood the fashion industry. Within 2 weeks, her vision was taking shape. She designed maternity wear that was actually stylish, plus-size fashion for women who'd been ignored by the industry, clothes that celebrated curves and diversity rather than hiding them. The work exhausted her, but it also fulfilled her in ways she'd forgotten were possible. Taeyang watched her bloom with quiet satisfaction, supporting her dreams while protecting her fiercely. He'd arrive at the studio with lunch, insisting she eat. He'd rub her swollen feet while she sketched. He'd listen to her ideas and offer surprisingly good business advice. "You're good at this," she said one evening as they reviewed her business plan. "I've built an empire. The principles are the same, just with less violence and more fabric." His smile was teasing, though the fashion industry might be more cutthroat than organized crime. She laughed, the sound filling their home with warmth. Life was settling into something beautiful. But in his world, peace never lasted long. 2 months before her due date, everything fell apart. Amara was at her boutique reviewing fabric samples with her team when 3 men entered. She recognized the danger immediately, the cold eyes, the concealed weapons, the predatory way they moved. Her assistant saw it too and reached for the panic button Taeyang had insisted on installing, but they were faster. "Mrs. Kim," the leader said in heavily accented English, "you're coming with us." "No, She backed toward the panic button. One of the men moved with frightening speed, grabbing her arm roughly. She screamed. Her assistant ran for help, but they were dragging her toward a van outside. Pedestrians stopped and stared, but no one intervened. Seoul might be modern, but people knew not to interfere with organized crime. "Your husband took something from us, now we take something from him." The leader's smile was cruel, calculated. See how he likes losing what matters most. They bundled her into the van, and terror overwhelmed rational thought. Not for herself, but for her daughter. She was 8 months pregnant. Any stress could trigger early labor. Any violence could harm the baby. The drive was a blur of fear and desperate planning. They took her to a warehouse on the outskirts of Seoul, one of the abandoned industrial areas that dotted the city's edges. Inside, it smelled of rust and mold and desperation. They tied her to a metal chair, as much as they could with her pregnant belly making it difficult, made threats about what they'd do to her baby, if Taeyang didn't comply with their demands. She tried to stay calm, tried to breathe through the panic, but fear clawed at her throat. Her baby was kicking frantically, sensing her mother's distress. She focused on that, on the life inside her, on giving her daughter strength. "Please," she begged, her voice steadier than she felt. "I'm 8 months pregnant. Whatever my husband did, take it up with him. Leave me out of it. You're his weakness. We hurt you, we hurt him. Simple business." The leader's phone rang. He answered, then smiled coldly. "Your husband wants to talk to you. Make it good. Convince him to cooperate or things get very bad for you and that baby." He held the phone to her ear roughly. Taeyang's voice came through, barely controlled fury beneath desperate fear. "Amara, are you hurt? Did they touch you?" "I'm okay. The baby's okay. Taeyang, don't give them what they want. I'm not worth— Don't you dare." His voice cracked, raw with emotion. "Don't you dare tell me you're not worth everything. Don't tell me to choose anything over you and our daughter. I'm coming for you. I will burn this city to ash to find you. Hold on. Just hold on for me." They yanked the phone away. Amara heard Taeyang shouting her name, heard the desperation in his voice before the call ended. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time lost meaning in her terror. Her captors argued in Korean, and she caught enough words to understand they were debating whether to kill her now, use her to send a message, or wait for Taeyang to arrive and kill them both. She prayed to any god who might be listening. She prayed for her daughter's safety, for Taeyang to find them in time, for one more chance to tell him she loved him. Then gunfire erupted outside, shouting in Korean. More gunfire, so much it sounded like a war zone. The warehouse walls shook with the violence. The warehouse door exploded inward with a deafening crash. Through the smoke and chaos, Amara saw him, Taeyang moved like death incarnate, like every nightmare his enemies ever had come to life. His men flanked him in perfect formation, but he was at the front, taking the most risk, his eyes scanning desperately until they found her. When their gazes locked, she saw relief and fury and love so intense it took her breath away. He took down anyone between him and her with brutal efficiency, no wasted movements, no mercy. When he reached her, blood spattered his face and clothes, none of it his. His hands shook as he cut her bonds, checking her frantically for injuries. "Are you hurt? Did they touch you? The baby? God, Amara, the baby." "We're okay. Taeyang, we're okay." She collapsed against him and he lifted her into his arms despite the ongoing fight around them, shielding her body with his. His men provided cover as he carried her to an armored SUV waiting outside. Once inside, he ran his hands over her belly with desperate gentleness, feeling for their daughter. The baby kicked strongly against his palm and relief broke across his face. "She's still moving. That's good, right? That means she's okay?" "I think so, but we should go to the hospital." Amara's voice shook despite her attempts to stay calm. "I'm having contractions, small ones, but—" His face went white. "You're in labor?" "I don't know. Maybe just stress. But we should check." She gripped his hand as another contraction hit. "Taeyang, I'm scared." "I've got you. Both of you. I promise." He barked orders to his driver, then pulled her close, his hands gentle on her belly. "You're safe now. No one will ever touch you again. I'll make sure of it." At the hospital, doctors examined her thoroughly while Taeyang hovered, refusing to leave her side. The contractions were Braxton Hicks, brought on by extreme stress, but not active labor. The baby was fine, heart rate strong, movements good. Amara was shaken but physically unharmed. "You need rest," the doctor said firmly. "No stress, no work. Just rest and prepare for the baby. You're very lucky. This could have ended much worse." When they were finally alone in her private hospital room, Taeyang broke. He dropped to his knees beside her bed, his head in her lap, his shoulders shaking with emotion he'd been holding back. "I almost lost you, both of you, because of my world, my enemies, my choices." His voice was raw, broken. "Maybe you'd be safer without me. Maybe I should let you go, give you the peaceful life you deserve." "Don't." She ran her fingers through his hair, feeling him tremble. "Don't you dare finish that sentence. I'm not leaving you. We're not leaving you. You should, for your safety, for hers. No, we're stronger together, and you're leaving that world anyway, remember? Going legitimate." She made him look at her, seeing the fear and guilt in his eyes. "I chose you, Kim Taeyang, with all your baggage and danger and darkness. I chose you, and I'm not unchoosing you now. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway." She smiled through tears. "We're a team. You, me, and this little girl who's going to have both of us wrapped around her tiny finger." He kissed her belly with reverent gentleness, then her, pouring months of fear and love into it. "I'm going to marry you again. A proper wedding this time, and I'm going to spend every day for the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you." "You already did that. Now you just have to be here, be present, be ours." "I can do that." He climbed onto the hospital bed beside her carefully, pulling her against his chest. "I can definitely do that." The next morning, Amara woke to find Taeyang on the phone, his voice cold and absolute. "All of them. I want every single person involved. Find them, bring them to me, and make sure they understand what happens to people who touch my family. Taeyang." He ended the call, his expression softening when he saw her awake. "How do you feel?" "Tired, sore, but okay." She touched his face. "What are you planning?" "Justice, protection, making sure this never happens again." His eyes hardened. "They took you. Threatened our daughter. There are consequences for that. Don't do anything that will take you away from us. I need you here, not in prison or dead. I'll be careful, but I won't let this go unpunished." He kissed her forehead. "Trust me to handle this my way." She did, and that terrified her as much as it comforted her.